Okay, I just decided to add one more element to this week. Or this, I always say week because I'm so used to teaching after 17 years of teaching weekly. Anyway, to this lesson, I should try to start saying. All right, we're going to make this thing semi-gloss. So let's do that. So what we need to do to make something semi-gloss is basically we need to take all of our reflections and we need to blur them. And then we need to turn down their opacity. So you can start going through and finding your reflections. So there's my reflection of the ground. And you might have to come back and do a little cleanup around your silhouette because as you blur them, they might leak over the edge. So that's why it's nice that we have our paths, or we can make a selection out of our base paint layer. So let's go here. Make sure that you have the preserve transparency turned off. And also, let's see, the mask shouldn't make a difference because the mask we're not using for the silhouette. Or we're not using it to define the shape of the reflection. So you should be able to, I'm going to take the hard edge one though. Let's see, that's my increased Fresnel. That's the ground. And what I want is the, let's see, where is the horizon? Maybe that was it. Let's just try those two ground ones, turn them off. Oh, the horizon's showing up because of the sky. So I had this ground and I had this ground. If you wanted and you were going to commit to doing it semi-gloss, you could just go ahead and merge those together, commit to those layer masks. But let's see if we can just do this individually and blur it the same amount each time. So blur, Gaussian blur. So see what's happening when I do that, that you can see out at the silhouette it's also getting affected. So let's do where I'm looking when I'm adjusting this. So I'm looking really just at my horizon line there, and that's what I'm judging, and also the shadow edge. See it go outside. Here, let's do something extreme here so you can see it, the glow start to show up. That's what you're going to want to get rid of. You know what I need to do is I need to turn that off because it's hiding too much. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Okay. So I think I'm going to go with, let's do 10 pixels. I can still see it there, right? I don't want to lose it altogether, and then I'm going to have to get rid of that glow, and I'll do that last. So actually, you know what, let's just do that now. So what I can do is I can either load this selection, okay, and Command-Shift-I will invert that, and then I can just go to that layer and I can delete, and that should eliminate that glow. You'll have to do that each time if you want to keep all of your layers. So there was the increased Fresnel. I still want to keep that. So if you go back here, filter, Gaussian blur, you just hit Command F and it will repeat the same blur. So you can just click on the layer you want. Sorry, not double. And Command F, and that will blur it. Okay, so now I still get the little bit of increase from my Fresnel, but it's now blurry just like the horizon. And then we'll have to load our selection. Command-Shift-I and delete to get any over leakage there that's going out and beyond our silhouette. Okay, so I had 3 skies here, so I don't really remember which one. I think this was my extra added. So I think it's really just this guy right here is the one that we want. It's the one that will work anyway. And let's take that and let's do our Command F. Okay, so there I just blurred that, and see it started to glow again. So back to my selection, Command-Shift-I, and delete. Okay, now when I delete, you can see that it's starting to make a little dark edge there. So it's not technically correct. Just because it's semi-gloss doesn't mean that would, the blue wouldn't go all the way to where it's supposed to. On the other hand, I'm going to make it a little bit less opaque. And I never really rendered that horizon through there, so maybe I can get away with just leaving it. So let's try that. Okay, and let's go to, let's see, I need to find these reflections. Looks like they're all up here in this group. So if you're really committed to your colors and everything, you could start to just collapse that group, right? And so be sure you turn off preserve transparency. And I'm going to hit Command F again. So it's not perfect. See, ideal if that reflection had committed to like the sky layer and then I blurred it, I'd get a nicer edge without that dark edge showing. So probably better if you commit your sky, all your clear coat to one entire layer. The ground, the sky, the reflections of these little humps, the reflection of that fin. If you put it all on one and then blur it, I think is better than the way I'm doing it right now. So that one's not really going to change because there's nothing hard edge on it. And this one, leave that shiny, not semi-gloss. Okay, so that's really all you would do, and then you would start to play with the opacity of each of these. Again, then if you had them all on one layer, that would be easier to do. So you could take and turn that down, and you could turn this down. And this is where you're playing really with the amount of semi-gloss that you want. So this is and you could even turn off the increased Fresnel if you want. Turn that down a little bit and keep the Fresnel. Okay, that's looking like semi-gloss. And let's see if that was a semi-gloss glossy, right? But I like the metallic semi-gloss, which you could have, right? You can have that little metal flake in your base paint, then you can have just a, clear coat with a little dull clear coat on it. That works. I think I've got probably enough time in this lesson to jump ahead one, just to give you a preview of the kind of stuff we're going to do next. So let me save this. And then I'm going to, you know what, I just want to, just looking at it, just glanced back at it, and I want to turn down that strength of the reflection a little bit of the sun. That should also get a little bit fuzzy. Okay, and I probably turn that down just a tick. These are my other ones. These guys are also going to get a little fuzzy, which means they'll almost go away, which is fine for semi-gloss. And okay, that's looking a little better.